Hey, welcome back everybody. This is Dylan Friedoff, Solution Engineer at Talend Software. In this session of the Talend Studio Components, we are going to talk about one of the most powerful components in the Talend Studio, the tMap. This is where all the work is done. It integrates data, it creates computed fields, it outputs specific columns, it does everything we need to do. So to demonstrate this powerful component, I'm going to go into the studio and I'm going to create a new job. You can give it any old name. I'm going to do tMap job in this particular case. Now that we have our new job, we're going to add the first element of data. This is 10,000 rows of client information from a delimited file. We can preview that, and we can see it has columns such as first name, last name, address. And for the tMap, we're going to actually use the state column to do our join. We want the output of this job to list the last name of the client and the state that they come from. So to do this, we need to look up the state name based on the state abbreviation. So I'm going to bring in 50 rows of state data that gives us abbreviation and our state name. Now we're going to add the tMap, which is going to bring all this together. We just need to take our main row from the client information and join that with the state abbreviation from our clients table. Now you can see it says lookup on this particular join, but we can actually switch them so that now we'll iterate through the states, joining the clients to each of those states. That's not what we want, so we're going to switch it back to the way it was. Now we can go into the component editor and specify the columns that we want to propagate to our output. First of all, we're going to create a new output table. Just call it out1. Doesn't really matter what we call it at this point. Probably should be a more meaningful name, but we'll get to that later. We're going to add our last name and also our state name. Now we still need to do our join, and we can do this by dragging the state ID down to the postal, which will join these two tables together. We'll just hit OK, go back to the main window, and create our output. In this case, I'm just going to use a T row log. This will allow us to see the output to the console, which would be a nice way to do it. We'll put our main feed from the tMap to the output, and we'll run the content. And at this point, you can see that for every client, their last name, we have the state name that they belong to. The tMap is a very powerful component, and there are a lot of advanced concepts that we need to go over. We don't have time in this particular video, but we'll get back to the tMap and look at them. But in our next installment of the T Studio Components, look for a new component.